What's going on, folks? This is Price is Wrong. I've been asked to. I've had a couple of video requests. So I'm going to try to fill those real quick. The first one that I want to do is I want to do some. People wanted to see my base defense, so I guess I'm just going to start off with some playbacks, and then I'm even going to go into. I think I even have the TLC available. So anyway, let me crank out the intro, and then we'll get right into it.
Welcome to Battle Vortex.
Alright. Just get the ball rolling. I do have, I'll talk about my base guard and all that in a minute. But the first thing that I probably ought to do is just go ahead and see what playbacks I have available. I do have a few. I know the most popular attack out these days is, well, so much you're having a few. I was kind of hoping I had more than these four, but well, we'll go ahead and do this one first. The most popular attack currently, and it's currently July 2017, so if you're watching this like far in the future, yeah, you'll know. But you see this one right here has got basically prides and four prides and a liberator. The prides do buff each other. The liberator doesn't really buff anything. In my base, as my turret's set up, I guess this first section right here can be, I think it's about 33%, something like that. This first section is 33%. So if somebody doesn't like try blitzing through, just running through without having to kill everything, they could potentially avoid 25%. But with the hairpin turns, these 90-degree turns in there, it's just not very likely that they're going to be able to get away with not doing a lot of damage. I'm not exactly sure what this guy here is setting up for at the moment, to be honest with you. Everything's got pride. You see these little icons in the top left. That's the pride ability. If he has a resonance capacitor or battery, those are activated as well when the pride effect is in place. The fleet that currently gives me a hard time is the Pride fleet with the Visago flag, the Visago Pride flag, and with the Survivor, accompanying Survivor. The Survivor gives all the ships in the fleet like additional, I think it's like additional not radioactive. I can't remember. I think it's corrosive, actually. Now, I do have lockdown rockets on my ships, so it's like if I can slow them down enough, then they can potentially run into each other and take out that pride ability, which makes them a lot more vulnerable. Kind of amazing so far, right? Yeah. Obviously, he's not getting in. The only downside about base design, I mean, with some of these hits, obviously, if they don't break 50%, you most likely will get medals from the hit. But also, you know, you got to be able to repair your guard pretty quick, because you're only going to get a 12-hour bubble. So that's that hit. I'm not going to play the prep, the first hit. This particular, the Lady Shirata hit, she did do 7%, and then she had repaired her ships and then came back in again. But anyway, I understand that she kind of made a mistake with the fleet. She put a couple gluttonies in here, but they weren't the right gluttonies. she does have gluttonies that are more appropriate. I was kind of hoping that I had a video in the queue. It just, I don't know what's up with the PvP playback. Doesn't seem to hold very much anymore for whatever reason. And I wanted to be able to show you the one where my base does get flat. Now, if you will notice that all the fleets that hit, they immediately have a debuff icon. You see how there's a buff icon and a debuff icon right next to each other. It's the arrows going up and the arrows going down. That's because of a special I have on my outpost. And what that does is actually, all it does is nerf projectile speed. Now, you notice I've got 2 of these launchers. I had initially had 3, but I'm not going to lie, I really wasn't all that impressed with them. The blue munitions you see coming forward are from the new ballistic turrets. Now, obviously, me not being able to see gluttonies at this point is a problem, so I actually did put a fix in place to address that. The anti-rocketeer turret I have right there, I actually changed the transformer on that. I changed out the transformer in that and put one with sonar on that. So now I have like 3 turrets with sonar on it. So, and I moved it forward a little bit too to help. But anyway, with all that said, I guess I could show you what turrets that I have. I actually have 3 of these mortar turrets. And the mortar turrets are basically, it's a Cataclysm mortar, Eruption Pyre, Fuel Tank 01X or D1X, I'm not sure what that is. But you see it gives a really good splash and explosive damage. Atomic Focus for the radioactive damage buff. This Cataclysm mortar does do quite a bit of radioactive damage, and so the Atomic Focus is there to buff that. I do have the solar reinforcements, as I do most of my turrets, really just to help with the power. And then I do have the bonus damage transformer on these, and the 3 of them are all here are identical. I do have 2 of these phlogiston launchers. 17,000 damage. I really had high hopes for these. When I put 3 of them in, I was really thinking it was going to stop everything, and I was really wrong. I was very, very wrong. Even with equipped, I've got the radium reserves on there for the radioactive reload buff, the atomic focus for the radioactive accuracy and damage. Even though it's 90% accurate, well, the atomic focus, that should help it quite a bit. And then the alloy panels, COM, which basically gives it penetrating defense, corrosive defense. I don't know that that's really the best special to put on there, but again, I put the bonus range transformer on that one and loaded up with solar reinforcements, and these 2 are identical. I do have 2 of these emancipator turrets. That one there came with the ballistic recoil suppressor. I went ahead and added the supercharged beam rails 2, not 3 because power was a problem, and then the frontline platform ZU. Again, solar reinforcements, and this one right here also has the range transformer on it. I do have 5 of these, and I probably need more of the hyena missile turrets. Damage 33,160. It's very, very, I mean, it's really good at stopping a lot of stuff. And I think even the fleets that's giving me a hard time right now, I suspect more of these will come in handy. I'm actually trying to come up with a couple ideas. Maybe I can add like 2 more in there, get me up to 7. Currently I have 5. They're all just up the same. I got the SSKP enhancement for the accuracy, the reload, and adds retargeting. Plus I've got the thermobaric casing, gives more penetrative damage, and fire support platform N, which gives me the range and penetrating damage as well. So transformer I put on there was range. And again, I went with solar reinforcements. I probably didn't really need solar reinforcements for all of those, but, you know, you never know. I don't like to have to do a whole heck of a lot of refits. I do have a couple of oldies in here. I still have the glacial launcher, which I think is still good. It does do quite a bit to slow down some ships that are inbound. I've got that loaded up with the expanded percussive charge, mainly for the splash. Obviously, it doesn't really do percussive damage. But there are specials that can do more splash now, so maybe I ought to consider pulling that out of there. Projectile speed from the eruption fire as well as splash. And frontline platform ZU that gives it the radioactive reload, as well as makes it a little defensive. I did put the range transformer on that one as well. Right next to it, we have the Cold Snap rocket turret. Cold Snap, by the way, is explosive. A lot of people think that Cold Snap is something unique and different. Cold Snap is an effect, as you see down there, but the damage type is still explosive. And it does do pretty good explosive damage. It's just pretty insignificant these days compared to how, with the deflections and all that, of a lot of the ships that are out now. Fuel tank 01X does add explosive damage. Frontline platform ZU adds the reload, where there's rocket reload, and then eruption fire that adds explosive reload as well, and damage. Well, no, it doesn't add any damage. It has a -0 on there. But anyway, and range transformer on that as well. Up front, I have really just 3 different kinds of turrets. I have 3 of the venom spitters. Put eruption fire on there, hydroxide coated barrels, and the sulfide deployer. You notice that one there's got 80% splash buff on it, which is one that I might consider for the other turret that I was just mentioning. I did put the sonar transformer on this one. I think that's really just on 2 of them. Let's see, I've got a couple of these blunderbusses still. That's short range ballistic. And specials that I put on that one, alloy panels XM, I don't know if it really helps as far as making them last a little longer, but I got depleted uranium shells 3 on there and supercharged DM rails 3. And I got 2 of these as well, which is the explosive turret D99S. 30,000 damage, is pretty significant amount of damage. I did put the alloy panel XM on that, eruption fire, and fuel tank. and it's got the range buff on there. Range buff on there. And that's pretty much all of those. There are a couple of tools you can use out on the internet. I know if you go to, well, I know BP Professor had one, base damage calculator, and I know Thunda has put one on BP Unknown webpage. Both of those have base damage calculators. Basically, for 25% was basically these 7 turrets and 2 warehouses. And then when you add in these other 2 turrets and up here, that's when you get over 30% in mine. My base guard. My base guard, I do have the Harlock Alpha Behemoth. And you can kind of see the build down there. I've got 2 of the Alpha Behemoths. With the, originally, the Alpha Behemoth, so I know you're looking at the UAVs and you're like, you know, what good are those, right? But the thing was with the gluttonies were pretty devastating there when they first came out, and they dropped those purple circles on there. And if you notice on here, I had the resonance battery on here, which just means that every one of those purple circles buffed my damage, every one, and it made those UAVs worthwhile, quite honestly. And I've got 2 of those. I do have a Retribution, which really, I put that one in there because it does have high radioactive deflection, but I don't know. It's typically the first one of my ships to die in my base guard. I do have a Valiant still in there too. Really, its point is really just to try to help with the prides. It used to do a really good job on pride-only fleets, but with some of the new variations we're having, I see that it's less effective. So I got to come up with some new ideas. But anyway, with that, all that being said, we do have a Reaver Tide campaign. I'm going to go ahead and launch that. Now, I used to be able to defend against the Reaver Tide for instant repair every round, but then I changed my base. My base was more circular in the beginning, where it had gone around and, you know, in a circle. And I like that a lot better than I like this one. But because the splash on the gluttonies were so bad, I had to, well, it was so huge, the splash was so huge. The splash was actually longer than the range. It had longer splash than the range of the missile. It was just devastating. And so I had to find a way to get my outpost away from everything else that, you know, might hit it. So I can do pretty good against gluttonies now, for the most part. Alright, so right now my base repair is up to 28 minutes, which is this turret right here, really. But anyway. Wave 2 Reaver Tide, that's when the scouts come in from all different sides. It always amazes me in some of these rounds how some of the boats, they actually teleport in like right past the land. They go like right through the turrets. If it weren't for that, I don't think I would take that 20 minutes worth of damage in the beginning.
History is turning into a white-knuckle ride for sure. And things are going to get worse, apparently much worse. We are closing distance with the first moments of true human civilization. But it's not a sure thing. It rests in our hands, as it always has. So it all went for this. It will all be made clear in the lifetime of most of us. We simply must push forward, push forward, push forward.
Yep, that's that. Now, one more thing that I should probably share about rogue crews. I know not everybody uses them, but... Alright, so I got my chest. You may have noticed that I did have a rogue crew equipped. I currently am using junkyard dogs. There's two different variations of this, but they're pretty much identical. The only difference between the two are time. It does give you 30% explosive defense. Now, that doesn't help you if something's got the defense bypass, right? But then there's still the 8% chance to deal critical hits. I don't think too many people have Goliaths in their base anymore. Quite honestly, if you're using Goliaths, I really think you should just pull them and just not even try until you have something that you can put in there that's a little bit more current. But anyway, there's two different versions, and the main thing that I wanted to point out was that this crew, even after the time runs out, you don't have to have the silver one. Even after the time runs out, it's still valid. It's still working all the way until you dock your guard again. It's not until you dock your guard that you need to replace it if the time is out. So I just wanted to put that out there. So even if it's like, I think the regular one's like 10 hours or something like that, it's basically going to be good all the way through the next time you get hit. As long as you don't dock your guard, you're in good shape. So that's it. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't done so already, make sure you give my video a like. If you found it valuable, share it with your friends. Maybe give me a subscribe. That'd be awesome too. And I am on Twitch often at twitch.tv/price_is_wrong. And I'd love to have you. So take care and see you next time.
The price is wrong, bitch.